Obviously, you just saw Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett for the interim title. Earlier, Topuria posted, I'm dealing with some personal problems, so I'm not gonna fight the first quarter. So the winner of Gaethje versus Paddy will be the interim title, and then they will face Topuria.
Is it publicly? There's like a divorce.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's taking photos with rappers and shit, putting it on Instagram.
No.
Yeah. They try to put a fucking knife right in your spirit. This is the mother of your children, and this lady is a monster. There's a lot of ladies like that because you hooked up with a guy who's an incredibly special human being. You not just a UFC world champion, but a 2-division world champion superstar who the whole world wants to see, and you're his wife. So you're like, oh, look at me. And then he doesn't want to be with you anymore. Well, I'm gonna take you down. Reputation destruction. That's what they really are experts at.
Dana White has now been compelled to respond to one of the most difficult and destabilizing situations the UFC has encountered in recent years. Ongoing controversy surrounding Ilia Topuria, including a highly publicized divorce, and serious allegations of domestic abuse has sent shockwaves throughout the sport, throwing an entire division into uncertainty almost overnight. To be absolutely clear, these claims remain allegations and have not been legally confirmed. However, the consequences have already been significant. Topuria, widely regarded as one of the UFC's most dangerous and commercially valuable champions, has reportedly chosen to step away from active competition. In doing so, he has vacated his title, prioritizing his personal circumstances, addressing legal matters, and focusing above all else on his children. The decision has left the division in a state of limbo, with the UFC now facing major questions about its immediate future.
Actually, I met my wife in Miami.
Really?
Yeah, she was living there.
Damn. Who says you can't meet your wife in Miami?
You can find your wife in any place in the world.
You hear that? Put that on Only in Date on Instagram. You can meet your wife in Miami.
Alright, that's right.
Put it on Only in Date. It's hilarious.
Everywhere. But why are you saying that?
Huh?
Why are you saying that?
Everyone says that.
Because you go to the party and this is the only place you see. But you don't know the another part of Miami of people that just they want.
They're normal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Best place to work out too, Miami, because you can just walk outside and run the water.
Does anybody get under your skin? You know what that means? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like somebody that knows to say something that triggers. They see your face is saying something though.
I think the only person is my wife, probably. She's the only person. No one else, I think.
Seriously?
I think so.
That's very good.
Yeah.
You know, because you know that is a big strength of a lot of great ones were like that. Some of it wanted it. Some people wanted it. Like Michael Jordan's was he wanted you to say something to him.
Yeah.
And then he would convince himself that you said something about him really bad. And then he wanted to kill you. That's what Michael would talk about. You know?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he was playing basketball.
Right.
And I have enough of that energy that I wanna go in and take his head off.
What was once one of the UFC's most thrilling divisions has suddenly been plunged into complete uncertainty. While Dana White hasn't publicly shared every detail, situations like this are exactly what the organization fears behind closed doors. And it's not about rankings or future matchups. It's about reputation management. When controversy reaches this level, the promotion is forced into full damage control mode. A champion represents far more than wins and losses. They're the public face of an entire division. When that image becomes unstable, the ripple effects spread everywhere from Dana White's standpoint. This isn't about handing out punishment or making moral judgments. It's about dealing with reality. Preparing for elite-level competition is nearly impossible when an athlete is simultaneously navigating legal issues, intense media scrutiny, and personal family challenges.
some news regarding Ilia Topuria, because I do think that as of this morning, it's probably the biggest news of the day. So obviously by now, you know that he is not fighting on January 24th. You know that he is taking a bit of a break. You know that there's an interim title on the line at UFC 324. You know all that stuff and more. Well, over the weekend, he spoke to ESPN Deportes. I want to play those two clips in a moment, but I want to start with the new news first, if you will, because he posted on Instagram this morning an update on his status, and he also discussed what he's been going through. And I think it's worth reading because this is the most he has said about all of this. Over the past several weeks, I've made the difficult decision to temporarily step away from defending my title. This was not a decision I took lightly. However, when circumstances arise that threaten your personal integrity, your family, and your reputation, there comes a point when you must address them directly. In recent months, I have been subjected to severe and unacceptable pressure, including threats to disseminate false allegations of domestic abuse unless financial demands were met. These allegations are entirely unfounded. The truth is not a matter of opinion, it is a matter of evidence. All relevant evidence has been carefully preserved and documented, including audio recordings, written communications, witness statements, and video material. This evidence has been submitted to appropriate judicial authorities in order to pursue legal action for attempted extortion, falsification of evidence, misappropriation of funds, and personal property, and multiple threats. My initial decision to remain silent was made solely to protect my children, who are the most important part of my life. However, I've come to understand that silence under these circumstances does not protect the truth. It allows false narratives to take hold. Many individuals have faced similar situations, and time and again, the legal system has ultimately clarified the facts. Today, I'm stepping forward not only for my family and myself, but also to demonstrate that no one should be forced to yield to intimidation, manipulation, or fear. Those who know me can attest that I have never engaged in violence of any kind, and that my life and career have always been guided by discipline, respect, and integrity. I have full confidence in the judicial process and will allow the legal system to determine the facts based on evidence. Out of respect for my children and the ongoing legal proceedings, I will not be making any further public statements. I respectfully ask that speculation be avoided and that my family's privacy be honored during this sensitive time. The truth does not require volume, it requires facts. Thank you, Ilia Topuria. So that is heavy duty stuff. Obviously, we knew that he was going through some personal issues and there's rumors online, and I didn't want to partake in any of those. I had not heard any of this.
I had to dig into this. I guess I misunderstood. Ilia Topuria made headlines. My belief through the headlines is that Ilia was walking away from the UFC championship belt, thus elevating Justin Gaethje and Paddy Pimblett to undisputed title. Now, once I dug into this, I can't quite recall why I thought it in the first place. I mean, once I dug into it, there was nothing in the article that said that Paddy and Justin was going to be undisputed, or that the UFC was accepting, or that Ilia was surrendering a belt back. And I was talking with Daniel Cormier. Daniel's always got the inside scoop. It's like, hey Daniel, you just got back from calling this event. What is going on there? Is Justin and Paddy moved up? And Daniel said no. He said that essentially in all of these articles and all of these news waves that have now just come out on Ilia Topuria, it's repackaging what we already knew. It was Ilia coming in front of this thing and saying, hey, I'm dealing with some big stresses in my personal life, and one of the great concerns that I have is that there's going to be a claim made against me for domestic violence, and I'm sitting here and I'm just waiting for this shoe to drop. And until it does, and until I can deal with that, try to work my own personal things back into order, I won't be competing. Now, I think a lot of you are going to hear what I just said and go, hey, Chael, you're 2 weeks late on the story. No, that is the story. The story is that this made headlines for something that we were already told a couple of weeks ago, and there is no escalation from that, meaning Ilia Topuria is not vanquishing or having stripped from him the the title.
So we have to go through a lot of detail. We know the case. Ilia Topuria facing allegations of domestic violence. Strong allegations. If true, disgusting. From Ilia Topuria, very disgusting. It seems a bit weird. Okay, we've had no evidence against him. It seems like Ilia's proving more, or attempting to prove more evidence of his innocence than there is evidence of the allegations. It's a very odd dynamic. We don't normally see it this way round. Okay? And he says he's being blackmailed, and he's got proof of it, and he's going to go to court with this, and that's why he released that statement the other day that I made a video about, but it was very vague. We don't know much about this. Now we do. Let's go through the information here. The new information, the new details. More information has been revealed regarding Ilia Topuria's breakup with Georgina Uzcategui. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that was my attempt. Per Rabago Isabel. I'm just reading what this guy says. He's a Spanish reporter. He's actually got quite a lot of followers, 130,000 or so. I think that's more than me. So this guy must be a pretty fucking big deal. Okay? The couple decided to split in August. I'm going to take this chunk by chunk of information, and we're going to give my opinions on things as we do. Otherwise, there's just too much to go through. The couple decided to split in August. So this has been brewing for a while, which may explain how Ilia's been a bit radio silent recently in a division. He knew this was coming. This has been brewing for months. 4 months. Literally 4 months of time. This has been brewing. They split in August. And for a while, this has been silent, other than a couple of weeks ago. So that's very interesting as well, because then we get into the rest of this information, which has been posted, I believe, chronologically. Negotiations over the breakup began based solely on financial demands Georgina put on the table. Interesting way to start this. Very interesting way to start this. Now, a lot of people are saying things like, she's the rich one. I don't think that she's like the female Bruce Wayne.
At this moment, Topuria clearly doesn't have that freedom. Stepping away and giving up the title has completely reshaped the landscape. Fighters who were quietly waiting for their opportunity are now rushing to adjust. The matchmakers are being forced to rewrite plans that were set months ahead of time. Athletes who had been training specifically for Topuria suddenly don't know who their opponent will be or when they'll even compete. And for the fans, one question keeps coming up again and again. When does Ilia Topuria return? And what kind of fighter comes back with him? History offers an intriguing pattern. Some fighters return diminished after personal chaos, never quite the same. Others come back more dangerous than ever, driven by emotion, frustration, and a powerful need to prove something to the world.
Somebody does, I'm just giving my honest opinion on this. If somebody does something that horrific to you, your first thought is, let me get money out of him so I'll stay quiet about it. Listen, maybe you could say, oh, she's gone through a terrible thing and she wants to get compensated for it, and maybe this is just, who are you to tell her what way she should react to this? But to not even make a complaint about it at all until Ilia starts negotiating for a breakup, and Ilia files a civil separation lawsuit and talks about including the child and focused on shared matters, including the child, to not even mention this at all to anyone. But look, after being notified of the separation filing, Georgina began looking for a lawyer to represent her, at which point she alleged she was the victim of abuse. So only once Ilia Topuria took this to a legal standard and took this to a legal level and wanted to split and was discussing custody of the child, did this even get brought up in the first place?
These are the types of fighters who either fall apart, turn into absolute nightmares for anyone standing in front of them. For now, Dana White's priority is maintaining stability within the division, protecting the integrity of the sport and allowing the legal process to unfold without jumping to conclusions. But there's no denying the impact this situation has. Already had, the damage is done. The title now sits vacant. The contenders are closing in, sensing opportunity. And when Ilia Topuria eventually makes his return, there's a strong chance the UFC he steps back into won't resemble the one he walked away from.